this did often happen with the girls. They sometimes didn't come home. They might be at friends, and that Libby was wanting to go to her mom's, so they may have ran off.
We had spoken to, obviously, the family a number of times as far as other locations the girls could have went to, and we had learned as far as their history, whether it be they went to each other's homes and not communicated that to other family members. That had happened in the past, but there had been times where the girls had been elsewhere and had not told, whether it be parents or grandparents or any other family members where exactly they were.
Okay.
I've been with this agency in particular for 32 years, and so I had a lot of feeling and real faith that we were not dealing with an ongoing event as far as someone going out there and committing this crime again. More of a concern for me as a law enforcement leader was that we obviously did not want to create a large amount of paranoia and concern where individuals or families would have to constantly, if you will, be looking over their shoulder all the time, wondering, who's that behind me? That's no way for a community to live, in my opinion. And so wanted to convey that message that this was solely related to, or isolated, if you will, to these individuals involved. And so there was no factual information to believe that we were dealing with an ongoing situation with someone out there in the community. So I felt assured that, and still feel that way, honestly, that this is something that the community is safe.
That he is not cleared but covered. Can you explain what covered means?
Sure. Covered means that at some point an investigator has met with that individual or individuals, as the case may be, and in essence gained alibi information as to their whereabouts and their dealings during this particular time frame, particularly those 2 days involved of February 13th and 14th, 2017. And so we cover that information and determining what was actually happening in that individual's life. Where were they? Were they at work? Were they at church? Were they at school? Were they shopping? Where was that individual? So that's covered.
One that has been questioned or searched, they are still a person of interest, and they will remain that way until there is a conviction.
And again, correct. Again, I choose to use the word conviction because people are arrested every day, whether or not they're charged by the prosecutor and then taken to court and convicted is a whole set of new circumstances. So when we talk about a conviction, obviously someone has gone through the criminal justice system all the way through. The arrest is just the beginning point, okay? So we want to strive for that conviction, which is ultimately the ultimate justice for Abby and Libby.
Authorities have the voice, grainy video from Libby's phone.
That she needed to do something.
I know that voice. Who is that? Who is that? Who is that?
Yeah, who is that? That was a look at H.
Here's Kelsey again, Libby's sister.
The next morning, we all got up, me and my grandma got up and left about 7:30-ish, and everybody met at the fire station, and the fire department separated us into groups. And my family actually all got separated. So my grandma and Aunt Tara were in one group, and I was in a group with my dad and my other sister and a few other people. And my group got sent to High Bridge.
Todd Ladd is the pastor at Delphi United Methodist Church, and Mike and Becky Patty are part of his congregation. He'd seen Libby just days before.
I contacted the sheriff who attends our church and just said, "Where do you want me?" He asked me to come down to the command center. So my role at the command center was basically to talk with people as they came in, as they volunteered. I signed in a volunteer, of course, but more to just be connecting, listening, talking to first responders, looking at maps, wondering. Even spent about an hour with another clergy friend who went and searched a section of the creek in behind some houses, just going over areas that had been checked, but wanted to check once again. Many people were wanting to come out, even from communities nearby, the Logansport, the Frankfurt, the Monticellos as well. But of course, you saw a lot of people that you know, because you know many people in this community.
So is your mood on Tuesday morning different than it was Monday night when you were out at the scene?
Mood Tuesday morning is like, something's not right.
Pastor Todd's concerns are growing, and the search is reaching its peak.
So we had helicopters up. They were searching the creek. We had kayakers on the creek because some of those areas you're not going to see except for from the water. So the terrain is rough when you get off of the trail system. It's wilderness for this area. If it's not a cornfield, it's a creek bed. So even on foot in the daytime, it was tough to search.
The search continued to turn up nothing, and Sheriff Tobe Lezenbe, who's a veteran cop, felt this thing shifting.
Obviously, as time continued to go along, I again had that thought in my mind about, okay, this isn't like majority of what we end up with in this county, being able to find individuals. Yeah, at some point I thought, okay, I'm not real sure about this one.
Kelsey was in a search party at the bridge when the first sign of the girls was found a quarter mile away.
We heard somebody yell up the hill that they found a shoe, and at the moment, I knew exactly what they were wearing. I couldn't remember what the sweatshirt was my sister was wearing until later, but I knew exactly what shoes they were wearing. And so they yelled up that there was a black Nike, and I knew it was Libby's. And then about 30 seconds later, somebody else said that they found them.
I'll never forget this part, unfortunately. I know Chief Steve Mullen and I believe the Delphi Mayor Shane Evans, Fire Chief Sterritz, we were kind of in the back part of the fire department. And I remember, I believe it was Chief Mullen got a call, said we've located them. And they're no longer with us.
It was the end no one wanted. The bodies of Abby and Libby are found in a culvert a quarter mile from the bridge. And now a search is becoming an investigation.
Because of the number of people, we wanted to get authorities to the site before we put out any blanket notice. So we kind of played coy to protect the people, to protect the scene, to protect the family. So we kind of went downstairs and played coy, and we were waiting to give notice. We wanted the family to not find out from anyone but authorities. Of course, then you start getting people, well, we heard this, we heard that. You've heard more than, sometimes you have to lie to people to protect themselves. I'm sorry. You tell them, well, you've heard more than we know. And at some point, I believe it was Steve Mullins came down and said, well, we have the scene secured. Let's go ahead and let people know so we can terminate. Let's get people out of here. I made the announcement that the girls had been found and it was not to a good end. And I thanked everybody that was there. I tried to be, you got to be that guy that When all else is troubling around, somebody has to keep it together. And as I'm making the announcement, the entire lot was full of people, and there's a stream of state trooper cars going by, and it's just surreal. I knew where they were going, and I knew what they were facing.
And what those state troopers were facing was a scene so disturbing